Hello and welcome to Ecositana, the builder specialized in wooden houses. Today we will be talking about a big issue. How do you license a house? We'll be talking about, of course, licensing a wooden house, but pretty much everything I'm going to say is the truth, whether it is a stone house or a concrete house or a light steel house. Now, the big issue about licensing a house is there's a lot of misconceptions and wrong information circulating on the internet. So what we'll be doing today is we're going to try to step by step go from not having a licensed house to having a house built and legally licensed. So let's go with the number one, land. Okay, we will start with the land. So there's a big idea here, an idea that is not only false, but is an idea spread by certain people with less, I'd say, morals. Sometimes even professionals that are selling lands will transmit the idea that if it's a rustic land, you can put a wooden house and you don't need to license. Nothing could be farther from the truth. The law doesn't care if it's a wooden house or a stone house or a whatever house. If it's a house, it needs to be properly licensed. So the idea that a rustic land is non-buildable and that you can put a wooden house is not only false, it's also false regarding the part where the rustic land is somewhere where you cannot build. Because people tend to think that you have two kinds of land, rustic and urban. Well, that's not exactly how it works, because a rustic land is the general category. But then within the rustic land, and I'm going to use these terms just to try to give you the information, but they are what I would call subcategories of land types. Meaning that imagine that you have a 3 hectares rustic land, okay? But that rustic land can be 20% ecological reserve where you cannot build, and 40% agricultural reserve, and then 30% agro-silvopastoril, and so on and so on. You can have a land with, I don't know, immense categories, wood and rivers and this and that. And all of these categories have a specific law and possibility that will tell you what you can and cannot do. Sometimes you have a big rustic land, but within that land, a small part is actually urban. Even if you're in the middle of nature, that part is urban because there was, for instance, a ruin or whatever, and that ruin was properly registered by the people a long time ago. And so that small part is urban, and you can perhaps work on that ruin or build on the side of the ruin, or even you can expand the ruin, whatever. So what you need to understand is rustic doesn't mean that it's legal to do whatever you want if it's ecological or wood or whatever. And also rustic is just the main category. What you have to do and want to do when you're not sure that you're being given the proper information is you want to go to town hall and ask for a PIP, P-I-P. Pedido de informação prévia, meaning you're asking for information, and I think you have to pay a small fee, and they will give you the proper information in the form of a paper, a PIP, that will let you know what your land is, what are the categories, and within the PDM, the Plan Diretor Municipal, meaning sometimes from regions to regions, from districts to districts, or concelho to concelho, the big towns, you will have different, not different set of laws, but different ranges where the law can go. And if you have that proper information from town hall, then you can pretty much know what you can or cannot do. The information from town hall is not going to tell you exactly that you can do this or not this. They will give you the information, and a professional, I would say an architect for instance, will be able to take that information and let you know within the frame of the law what you can or cannot do for sure. So sometimes before buying a land, try to get the proper information, not from someone that has an economical interest in selling, but from someone that can, as a professional, inform you of what are the possibilities in that land. Illegal legal. Now, the second part of the process for licensing is to make the architect of the house. What do you want to build? What is the shape? And what is the material? And that translates in money. You have to know your budget. You have to inform your builder, your architect, whatever. What is your budget? How much money do you have to make the house and to buy equipment and to license the house, to pay the fees of architects, engineers, and the total fees? And that's really important here, because if you start just designing something, then you're just making sure it's not going to happen. 99% of the houses that we are asked to quote and that never happen are houses where people just started to design something, architects design without checking with client how much money do you have. And the builder and the architect have, within certain standards of quality, have to adjust to the reality of that client to make as best as possible. And that's important. And that conversation should be transparent. You're not on the market negotiating the price of a kilo of walnuts or whatever. You're with a builder and you have to be transparent about what is the money you have. And a professional and honest builder will know how to manage that money to reach the goal that you want. And that goes as well with architecture, because you have to make sure that the architect is designing what you want to build according to the technique you want to use. More often than not, we get people that send us drawings and we look at it and we say, well, this is for a concrete house, or this is for a light steel house. This is not for wood. This makes no sense. You want to take the best of the structure that you want to use. The structure that we use, the Ecositana, gives us lots of freedom, because you have several techniques to build a wooden house. Our technique is called porticada. So we make pillars and beams, we make like portics, and we can have more freedom of space, bigger windows, space without pillars. We have a bigger strength in terms of skeleton. So that means that if you know you want to build with that technique, the architect will be able to do a better job, rather than saying, just design me a house and then I'll see who is the cheapest and I'll build with that kind of material and technique. If your main goal is to have the cheapest available, then you're already wrong and you're gonna have lots of disappointments. Build smart, buy smart, and just have a controlled budget. And that's the most important thing. If you want to license your house properly and to build properly, that starts with having a budget and an architecture that talk together towards a shared goal. You know, I want to build that kind of house with more or less that technique. Of course, you're not a specialist, but you know more or less what you want. Is it a wooden house? Is it a light steel? Do you have a ruin and you want to expand? Whatever. You have to inform. Otherwise, just bringing a floor plan to a builder is really not something that you want to do. You want to know what you're going to do with what amount of money, and you have to be realistic about that. You know, you have to know more or less the prices, you have to know more or less the kind of construction you want, and you have to understand that an honest builder has standards of quality. We're not talking about luxury, we're talking about quality. Quality is longevity of the construction, quality of insulation, acoustic comfort, what kind of assets that house will have, what kind of safety and stability am I getting, the design. That's quality. You know, quality should be a different set of words that translate in the final product you're getting, and you're investing money, and you want to make sure that if you want to sell it someday, you're getting your money back. And that's about licensing as well. One of the key points is that the licensing will help you with making sure your investment is safe and sound.